What's up, YouTube? How's everybody doing today? I hope you're all doing fantastic. I figured I'd hop on and I'm going to try to make a video here. I'm going to do my best to try to make a video every day. It may or may not be, every day of the week, but at least most days, most consecutive days, okay? I figured it's a good idea to try to hold myself accountable and keep myself, taking care of myself better, and at least make myself look presentable each day, at the least. I think that it'll be good for me, but I also don't want to just make videos where there's really no particular topic or any kind of real updates for you guys. So I think I want to try to think a little bit more deeply about the kinds of things that I talk about during these videos. And I think if I'm regularly making these videos, there's more opportunities for us to talk about more topics, right? So I don't exactly know what I want to talk to you guys about today, or what I'm going to talk to you guys about today. There's plenty of things that I want to talk to you guys about, but it's really hard to pick and choose, so I don't really want to waste time just thinking about what I should talk about rather than just turning on the video, and that basically ends up forcing me to talk about whatever it is that's going on. So what's going on today, Tuesday this week? Basically, I got some groceries today delivered, and I had a phone interview with another insurance agency today, and we kind of went over a lot of the same. It was a very brief phone interview. It was probably like 10 minutes or so max. So it was pretty nice and concise interview. I think it really went well. She's going to put in my application and recommend it to the agency head, and then he'll kind of make a decision based on all the other applicants that he has. Hopefully, they go forward with me, but there's no guarantees there. So I still haven't. Also, I don't think I've heard back from the interview that I had Monday. So nothing's really happened quite yet in the job search department, but we're still working on that, and getting these interviews taken care of this week, and then I'll probably send out some more applications near the end of the week to get some more stuff going, either by the end of this week or maybe even over the weekend or starting next week. It's a little bit of a slow process right now. Especially if one of these agencies decides that they want to help me get my property and casualty license studying started, and help me try to go ahead and get ready for that exam, and then try to get my full property and casualty license. That would be awesome. I am actually. I think I mentioned this in the last video, but I'm a little unsure because I don't have experience inside an agency directly for an insurance company, so it would be different, and but I think that's actually a good thing. I think it'll put me on my toes, and make me kind of learn some new things in the industry for sure. So even though it would be 2 to 3 weeks of studying without pay, I think that in the end, it is still a great opportunity for me to try to learn some things and, get a license, a full property and casualty license, which opens a lot of doors outside of just my previous personal lines license, which is really a pretty limited license. So, hopefully things go well in the next, week or two. I hear back from these agencies. Maybe one of them will, choose to go forward with me. But I'm not going to get too attached to these ideas. I don't want to be all like, excited to get into it and then, never hear back, or, be told that they're going forward with other applicants. I just don't want to be too attached to the idea of these insurance agency jobs, because otherwise I'll feel, disappointed, a little slightly defeated when that comes around, that they don't really decide to go with me, right? So that's kind of the strategy I'm trying to take right now, is to kind of stay detached, not be emotional about, job rejection, basically. And that's a big thing. I think it's important in order to keep the momentum going, so that I don't, after each rejection, I'm like, oh, I get into a funk and I don't feel like, trying again. I don't know. It's just important that you don't get bogged down with the emotional side of things with job rejections, especially because, you're going to deal with rejection at every point in your life, and I think it's important to build up a tolerance to that kind of thing, for sure. There's always going to be that part of life, basically, and that it's a part of life, right? So if you let every rejection slow you down and everything, it's just going to eventually keep you stagnant, and you may never get over these kinds of things. So it's important to just try to, disconnect emotionally from job search rejections, basically. Just don't get invested and emotionally invested into the idea of potentially getting a job offer from anywhere. And that makes it all the more exciting when you do actually get an offer, right? So that's kind of the mentality that I'm trying to take with all this. Something interesting that's going on right now, I guess I could mention, is that my grandpa has a second vehicle that he hasn't been, I think it's been kind of left in the driveway, and I think it wasn't really working for a while. So something I noticed today was that that vehicle is no longer in the driveway. So that could mean a number of things. I'm wondering, what he's done with the vehicle, because it was something that I was considering, once I get some income, trying to work on getting that fixed, and so that I could use that vehicle for myself. But if, there's a couple things that he could be doing with it. He could be taking it to a shop, getting it looked at, and of course, depending on how much it would cost to get it fixed, he may or may not do that, or who knows. But that's something that I'm thinking about right now, is like, maybe if he gets that fixed, that would kind of eliminate my need for a vehicle for the time being. If he is doing that, I genuinely would be, I don't know, man, that would be really nice of him to do that for me. I understand that, it's kind of more of an inconvenience for him to have to take me to all these job interviews, and also to get to the job once I get hired and whatnot. So, it would be a benefit to him and me as well. I understand that, but, that would be big, for me, to be able to get around, because, living in America, you really do kind of need a vehicle to get around to most places, especially, a lot of jobs will try to make sure that you've got your own reliable transportation, or at least they'll ask that. Do you have reliable transportation in the interviews? It's a common question, and even though I don't have my own vehicle, I would always answer, yeah. It's not going to be a problem. There's plenty of ways to get there. A lot of people would be willing to help me get to places that I need to be, and there's also the other option of like taking Ubers to places as well. So transportation really